What's happening, hooligans? It's your boy Andy, and in today's video we got our May 6 cents 6-sack unboxing, or unsacking, or unbagging, one of those things. So anyways, look at this, look at the color of this bag. This thing is freaking fire. I have not seen a blue that deep, and I think the lighting, they're like the 6 and the rib or the rope on it is greenish. I like that. Look at it compared to last month's. My light's pretty bright. I'll have to, so y'all can see, but anyways, yeah, this thing's freaking sweet. Let's go ahead and pop her open. Okay, so from what I can see, it looks like it's smaller stuff than the last bag, but let's go ahead and get right into it. First up, we have the 6 cents Crush Mini 25X. Look at that coloring on there. That thing's freaking saucy. This thing's tiny. Look at it compared to my hand. Like, this thing's freaking little bitty, dude. Like, I'm trying to find it compared to another. Let's see if I can get one out of my last box. Compare it to another crankbait. There we go. So that was the Crush Mini. This is the Crush Regular. Let's give you guys a comparison here. So the size difference. Can you focus on that, please? There we go. Look at that. The size difference is crazy. So this is definitely going to be, obviously going to be a much smaller presentation for those finicky bass that don't want such a big, moving around kind of bait. This is going to be great for those post-spawn bass that are tired and don't really want to chase something ginormous, but they're looking for something easy to eat. I would throw this out there, and you can just slow crank it towards those tired bass, or you can even throw it in the fry protectors, the male bass that are still chilling on the bed. They're going to attack it, and this little thing is just enough size, is just big enough, or just small enough, if you will, to entice that defending male to just bite. Because sometimes they're not even going to try to eat it. They're just trying to get it off the bed or away from the bed. But if it's this small, I think it'll entice them enough to just devour this thing. This thing's cool, man. Does it have rattles? No rattles. This thing's silent. No rattles in this thing. That's cool. Okay. We got the Provoke jerkbait. Look at this color. It's like a sexy. It's like a sexy shad color, but with hints of purple instead of blue. Focus on that. Thank you. Yeah, there's a little bit of purple on top, and of course it has a blue head, and then you see the red gill with the white shad spot. This thing's freaking saucy. No chartreuse on the bottom this time, but no, it's the hint of, it's my desk that's giving it the hint of chartreuse. That's funny. So let's see. Ooh, those hooks are sharp, my friend. Very, very light hooks on here. Very light hooks. So whenever you're throwing something like a jerkbait, you always want to throw it on some type of line that's, or some lighter line, like 12. Some people even use 10. I personally use 12-pound line. I don't want to break off because I have a tendency to set the hook a little hard, even on jerkbaits or crankbaits. Since it's a little heavier, you can cast this thing out there, so you can just pop, pop, pause. Pop, pop, pause. Pop, pop, pop. You know, and most of the time on that pause is when they're going to eat it, especially those female bass that have moved on from bedding and are going back into open waters to feed, and to regain their like energy from popping out those babies, those eggs, you know what I mean? Yeah, this thing's freaking sweet, man. One more look at this thing before I turn her back in. Freaking saucy, dude. When using treble hooks, you don't really want to set the hook like I do. I freaking crank that thing. But you want to kind of just lean into it. The hooks will pierce no matter what. So whenever you set that hook, don't just whip that thing back. Just kind of turn and do one of these, and like let the rod do the work for you. You know what I mean? All right. Anyways, next up, we have the Crush Flat 75X in Chartreuse Pro Blue. Let's get this thing cracked open. Oh, this is a saucy color. Look at that. You can see the yellow right there with the blue on top. And of course the white. And this is the flat bill. This one's clear. My last flat bill that I got from 6 cents was like matte, like almost like a foggy finish. But this one's clear. And this one is also thinner than your average flat billed crankbait. So that means whenever you're cranking this down there, it's not going to have that crazy wobble action like this. It's going to be more tight, more like this, you know. And again, you want to cast this out there. It's going to hit the bottom. Once it hits something, kill it. Let it float up to the top. Go for it again. This is definitely something you want to throw on those right to those bedding bass or those fry defenders. They will eat this thing up, kind of like I said with that smaller crankbait. They're just really trying to make sure that nothing is trying to eat those fry or eat those eggs. And also right now, I think the shad are also spawning in some areas, and that shad color. Some of those bass are just creeping up and schooling them shad up in those shallow areas and ready to freaking devour those little things. But this thing's cool, man. I really like the color of it. One more look. Sweet. Next, we have another crankbait. This one's the Munch 40 in Chartreuse Black Back. The 6 Cents Munch was designed as the ultimate purpose crankbait. Diving 2 to 3 feet, this crankbait can be used around almost any type of shallow cover. What makes this bait unique is the hard thumping and hunting action in a smaller profile crankbait. Plus, it comes stock with premium top of the line hooks. That's such a weird shaped bill. Here you go. The black back chartreuse has like the hint of orange on the bottom, but look at this bill. This thing's crazy. I've never seen a crankbait like that. But yeah, that's cool, man. I don't really have much to say about this other than the fact that like every other crankbait that I talk about, you cast out there, you can slow fish it, you can speed crank it, fish it in shallow or rocky areas, you know, things like that. But this thing's pretty saucy. I like it. Let's hear the rattles. A little bit heavier of a knock. I didn't even give you all the example of that other one. Can I get it? It's like not a big deal, but it's just a little lighter knock. Next up, we have some jugular hybrid hooks. Your basic worm hooks here. You can never have too much terminal tackle. Terminal tackle always comes in clutch, especially here lately since I've been fishing a weightless Senko, a weightless weedless Senko a lot here lately. Next up, we have another axle jig. This one's the hybrid jig. Interesting. So it's 5/0. Let's see, swinging style hybrid jig. It doesn't say anything. It's not like your swim jig. I would assume it's just like your basic casting jig. It just has, but since it's a hybrid, it has a little pointed nose. You know what I mean? And like a swim jig line tie. This thing's cool. Same thing as that last swim jig. Free swinging axle here with the screw lock on it. See if I can get you to see it. With the screw lock there. You know? Thing's pretty saucy. Love the color. I really want to get like a bluegill color in my next sack or in one of my sacks. And try them out. I tried the swim jig one. And it was okay. You know, it was a little bit overhyped in my opinion, but it did the job okay. And last but not least, we have the Ned Fry, the Ned Fry 4.6 inch in Watermelon Scents. This looks like a Senko, but not really a Senko. I don't know how to explain it. Look, nice stretchy material. I think this has blue flakes in it. I can't really tell. Blue flakes, but there's like a hint of blue on the bottom here, like it's embedded or something like that in the paint scheme somehow. But this thing's pretty cool, man. I could throw this on like a wacky rig or a weedless Senko like I've been throwing. I don't know if it's like if it floats though. Like Z-Man, all their stuff is buoyant. So like if you throw on a curl-tailed worm, when you cast it out there on a Texas rig, that weight's gonna keep it down, but that curl tail is still gonna be floating in the current down there, you know. But this thing's freaking sweet, man. To recap, we got the Ned Fry, the Axle Jig, the Jugular Hybrid hooks, which I will be using with the Ned Fry, the 6 Sense Munch 40, the Crush Flat 75X, the Crush Mini 25X, and the Provoke 97X. Thing's saucy, man. Let me tell you, I can't wait to use all of this stuff in the next fishing mission. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and leave a comment for this video. Let me know what your favorite bait was, and we'll see you on the next fishing mission, hooligans. Peace.